Oh, like this. And then suddenly it'll be live. Okay. Anyhow, I thought I would jump up here and come up live. And as you see, I gave a name, what it's like to be awake. Because I'll tell you what, for a lot of my life, I wasn't awake to what was going on in me, around me. Okay? Because I wasn't like everybody else, man. To work, home, do your thing. And when I was a younger adult, was hanging out with Gary, went up in the mountains. Okay, did a lot of camping, did a lot of exploring, found a few mines, had a good old time, right? Everything was normal, right? Watched TV, that's right. One time I even had a big screen TV. I was into all the stuff everybody else around me was. That's right. I was just fitting right on in there. And then, well, my life went a turn. Social engineering had taken a hold. Okay, and when I started looking into the dating scene, because I wanted to know why men and women are acting the way they're acting, I wanted to know why people are so toxic and why so many men couldn't even get somebody in their life. Okay, so I went looking, and little did I know when I went looking what I was going to run into. Okay, at first I thought I was nuts. No, I thought people telling me this stuff was nuts. I thought they were completely out there, man. I'd have been right there calling them a conspiracy theorist, tinfoil wearing hat, nut job, the whole 9 yards with everybody else. Except for I handled it differently. I didn't call them names. I heard what they had to say, and I went and looked for myself. That I still didn't want to believe, so I remembered when I looked for myself, and I would look a little more, and I would keep my eyes open. Lo and behold, of what I wasn't seeing was actually happening in real life. As you started really paying attention, and you're going, oh shit, so then you start looking some more, and you start looking some more. And nowadays, after, 14, 15 years of doing this, I'm on a level where I can pretty much see what's happening, why it's happening. I understand why it's happening. I see a pure evil. I see people with no concept of what's going on around them whatsoever. I'm surrounded by them. And it's not easy being awake because it changes your whole world. It changes everything for you. Your outlook on life, your perceptions. It changes it all. Because you can't tell anybody, because when you do, they look at you and they call you a nut and they think that you're nuts and they don't want to believe you, or they're uncomfortable, or they're scared. That's right. When you try to tell people this is how they act, that's right. I still told them anyhow. Okay? Then you get shaming tactics, that's right. You get called all kinds of names. It's just like when I gave you TFL, True Force Loneliness. Okay? I got attacked hard. I was called all kinds of names, okay? It's just, that's the way it is, right? Shaming tactics, trolling. And it went on and on. But the more I researched, the more I seen, the more I realized how much truth is being told. And nowadays I'm looking and I see psyop after psyop, lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. Oh yeah, the lies are never ending. I mean, they're uncountable. I mean, they're just never ending. But it doesn't matter because, see, I see through it all. I understand what's happening. I've been screaming it at people for a year and a half now. Agenda 21 is playing in your face all day long. But, you know, so now I'm hated by people. And then I'm liked by other people. And I still don't, I still don't shut up. Because I'm not going to shut up. Because our world's evil. Because people are out to lunch in their heads. People are allowing history to replay itself. Thinking somehow they're going to have a different ending this time. When they're not. It's a genocide program. That's where you're living at right now. You're living right in the middle of where they want to completely repeat history and kill massive numbers of people. Because you've allowed a bunch of psychopaths through the tool, through the tool, to control you. You've sold out your own people, you've sold out your countries, because you went along with social engineering that created a hierarchy, so that they could pit everybody against each other, so they could have you all competing against each other. They did away with care. Now it's look out for number one. And in the manosphere, men are so angry that they all hate each other. They're all up here trying to one-up each other. And there's a whole lot of men in the manosphere here that's never even had a woman in their life. But, in the MGTOW community, it's the same thing. It's TFLers in denial. Because nobody likes the name, Bill. So let's go to something that came right out of a university that was actually created by the globalists called Incel. Let's run over to them. Let's be part of a group that's worldwide is known as a hate group. That's been used, 10 years worth of attacks on the public and people losing their lives from some guy who couldn't get a woman in their life. And that was known as Incel. They listed 10 years worth of attacks and called it Incel. But it's probably a good thing to run right over to Incel, right? So you can be part of the hate group. Wow. The division is just through the roof, I'm telling you. And people's ignorance to understand what's going on around them blows me away. I got friends I grew up with, went to school with, hung with, right here in my hometown, that are sound asleep. And see, because they're sound asleep, I've been crucified. They won't have anything to do with me because, it might hurt their little feelers. Yeah, I might be a kook or a nut job because their TV didn't tell them this. Yep, their TV said didn't tell them it, no. And that's what I witnessed going on. Everywhere I turn. It's so sad. You sit here and watch history replaying itself, and you know what's even more comical? I told people 10 years ago history was replaying itself, and I was told I was nuts. I told them that, and I was nuts. And now look at you. I'm still nuts, right? Don't worry, your time's running out. By the time you realize I wasn't nuts, it'll be too late for you. Because we are at the point where you're either part of the problem or you're part of the cure. And if you can't stand down and open your eyes and look into nothing, then you're just as guilty for the deaths that's going to happen as the people doing it. Because you sat back and allowed it to happen. People fail to understand that these people get their power from us, the people of this world. And only us, the people, standing together, not complying, can take that power back. But you ain't gonna do that because you'd rather attack each other, right? Isn't that how it works? You'd rather attack each other. So that way your real enemy can come through the window when you're not looking and take you out and not to lunch. It's actually pretty sick and it's pretty pathetic and it's pretty cowardly. But you know, the perceptions of the young today is they think the world's always been what they've experienced in their short 18 years, 19 years, their short 25 years of life or what have you. They think the world's always been this way and they have no concept whatsoever. Okay? And people don't use their brains because they're all competing against each other to be successful. Okay? And they're all worried about the tool. Making more of it and more of it. So in reality, while you're busy worrying about making more of that tool, the money, you're helping them to exterminate you. That's what you're doing. You're working your tail off to obtain something that's being used to take you out, not to lunch. So you're helping to finance your own enslavement and your own death. It's pretty pathetic. You know, you're hooked up on the right or you're hooked up on the left. You believe that your government's here for the good of you. That's right. You believe your technology is for your entertainment and your enjoyment. You believe the hocus pocus that started in 2020. Yep. You run right out there and let somebody stab you. That's right. And shove some foreign substance that you don't even know what it is into your body. Pretty pathetic. Okay? You don't mind being a lab rat, I guess, because it's fun being a lab rat, right? But don't worry, I'm still the nut job because I would dare to talk about such truth that you are turning your back to and looking the other way. By the time you quit turning your back, you won't be able to turn your back. Nope, you sure won't. Then you'll be panicking and screaming help, and we gotta stop this, and I'm gonna laugh at you. And I'm gonna laugh at you, and I'm gonna laugh at you. Because you've had plenty of time to listen, to pay attention, and to go look for yourself. You refuse to do it, you're hurled insults, and now that you're in deep water, you're panicking. See, this is what happens, you know, it's sort of like, I'm the nut job, you're going to turn your head, you're going to go on like it ain't happening, you're going to pretend I don't know what I'm talking about, and you're not going to look at anything because you're too scared that you might be wrong. You don't want me to be right, so you won't look. Which makes you part of the problem. You will be guilty. You will be guilty for your death, your mother's death, your dad's death, your family member's death, any friends you might have's death. That's right, you'll be guilty. You'll be a murderer. Because you wasn't smart enough to open your eyes while you're on your way out yourself, of course. You wasn't smart enough to open your eyes. You wasn't smart enough to figure out they get the power from us and all we got to do is stand down. It's not a matter of bearing arms. See, that's the failure of mankind. This is the failure, the epic failure of people's ability to grow the hell up. You're going to sit there and tell your children to grow up while you never grew up yourself. It's pathetic. Hypocrites. Bunch of hypocrites telling their children to grow up while they never grew up themselves. I see that everywhere too, believe me. I've just been sitting back watching and observing, and nothing has changed. The plan's moving forward, just like they want. And you all sitting back allowing it to escalate and move forward. So you're not going to have much time left. You really ain't. Will we be here by 2025? You know, I don't know. I may not be here, you know, my health's bad, but will the majority of you be alive by then? I don't know. I sort of doubt it. I got a feeling you're about to witness some real nasty shit before the end of this year. Some really bad stuff. And you're probably going to witness stuff by next year that you're not ready for. And by the time you realize that I have been telling you the truth, and so has so many others, okay, it's going to be too late. It's going to be just too late. You got to sell people out for the money. You got to call yourself a technocrat. I call it crap. Okay, you got to work up there in Silicon Valley. You got to think you're some high blah, blah, blah. You got to think you're somehow creating this world of blah, blah, blah. When all you're doing is you're just the perfect patsies to bring in these psychopaths want. So now you became a psychopath for the tool. See, rather than understanding money is a man-made construct, and that money should never be owned ever by private entities, not when you set up the system that they set up, and that you should never have a hierarchy. That we're all human beings and we need to be working together and looking out for one another, not your selfish selves. See, the foundations of everything that made people good have all been completely destroyed. Foundation of relationship between man and woman has been destroyed. Foundation of friendship between woman and woman or man and man's been destroyed. The foundation of working together without thinking you need a profit has been destroyed. Your perceptions are that silver and gold is always the currency that backs everything. But when push comes to shove, you can't drink gold or silver, you can't eat gold and silver, or it won't keep you warm in the winter or dry in the rain. Well, but I could buy, no, you can't. No. You're missing the point completely. Anything that's considered of value to human beings is a man-made construct. Real wealth is happiness, food, water, and shelter. You're not going to get happiness when you can't even get along. You're not going to get survival when you can't work together. You're not going to get a strong family unit when you're divided. And you're not even going to get a date when you don't know what you're doing. And that goes for both genders. One gender may be getting the date, but the date is completely messed up. It's not about what it's supposed to be about. So therefore, it's a breakup in a short order time. And moving on to the next. So therefore, there's lots of domestic abuse, lots of divorces, lots of children without parents. Because you're all divided and broke up. Can't get along. Because you don't know how to get along. You don't even know how to disagree. Because somebody has a different opinion than you, you're their enemy. It's pathetic. It's childish. Just comes to confirm what I've always said, the epic failure of mankind, their ability to grow up. You think you gotta have weapons, you can go off to war, follow the orders of the people doing this to you so that you can help them to steal all the resources and everything on this planet for themselves? Then they'll do away with you because now they're done using you, sucker. Useful idiots. You know, it's not hard when you own the tool, money, and you print the tool, and you give it to nobody, but you allow them to labor for it. That's right. But then that also means anything they buy outside of perishables belongs to who? Same people that own the money that says they give it to nobody. No, and they were dead serious when they said it, but you don't want to. When they said that, but you don't want to believe that. You don't understand how simple it is to stop all this nonsense. There's absolutely no excuse for any human being broke and homeless and on the street. There's no excuse outside of evil. That's right, selfishness, greed, and evil. You're not overpopulated. You're not running short of water. All lies. You live on a water planet that produces natural, clean, flushing water naturally, and it's a water planet. There's more water than there is land. You're not overpopulated. That's a big phony lie. You're not running out the resources. The shortages are being man-created. Man-created shortages. That's right, by other scumbags, psychopaths, lying to you and deliberately creating your problems. And smirking and laughing on a power trip because they think they're a god behind your back. There's your hierarchy for you. That's what a hierarchy's done for you. It's helped to completely destroy anybody's judgment, anybody's care. You know, it's so in people's face what's really going on. And it's not going to end anytime soon. And by the time it does end, won't be that much longer before you all realize that I wasn't the liar. And that you wish to God you had listened. Or you wished you had some gonads, a little bit of bravery, you know. You know, let's look at other divisions that you see. You know, because we've separated men and women so well, you could have a friend that's a female, not be with them, because, you know, in today's society, women and men can't just be friends, Bill. Yep. And that comes to be true in a lot of scenarios, because I'll give you an example. You know, a female, you talk back and forth, they're semi-awake, you're helping them to wake up some more. Then the female just stops talking to you. Then the female gets engaged. Then the female gets married. But yet, meanwhile, the females never told you they were getting engaged, never told you they were getting married. Oh, but don't worry, they're your friend. They're just your friend who never have any time to talk to you because now they're married. They wouldn't want the guy to think they're cheating because they're talking to another guy. You want to talk about division? That was a wonderful thought you had going on there. Just keep following the orders of them dictators that divided you all up and broke you all up. It's so funny, it's pathetic. But this is where people's mindsets are. You're claiming to be semi-awake. You're waking up. You don't like the evil you see going on. You don't like the division amongst the genders. You want to try to help bring the genders back together again. And your idea of doing that is to continue to follow the programming that divided you in the first place. What a joke. What a joke. Just keep using the same tools that keep failing and wonder why you're not getting a different result. It's like taking a screwdriver and a hammer to a construction site to break up the concrete. Yep, you're going to break up that concrete road on that highway with a screwdriver and a hammer. Well, good luck to you. That's literally what it's like. But being awake's not easy. Because you give up family members, you give up friends. You know, people that are awake, that's family members think they're nuts. You'll be arguing with people over nonsense. But that's what they want, because it keeps you divided. It keeps you from paying attention to what's going on around you. Which then in return keeps you divided. Which in return gives the people doing this to us their want. Because that's exactly what they want. I won't argue that point with somebody who's a technocrat that lives in Silicon Valley and is up here playing games with people. He is part of the problem. See, he sold out his people of his country for the tool, money. He's one of them people I was telling you about. He's a technocrat. That's who First is. And anybody that thinks he's a normal dude, just deliriously out to lunch, these people love hiding themselves and love lying, and even when they're busted, they'll still continue the lie. Even when somebody knows who they are, they'll still continue the lie and say they're not. And anybody else that's also working for the establishment is right there backing them up. Yep. The evidence stands for itself. I don't need to say anymore when it comes to that person. That person knows who they are, and so do I. And they know I know, and I know they know I know too. And I really don't care. So that's what I have to say about that, because you're not going to get truth from that man. If you want to get bullshit, deception, and keep going along with the agenda that's going to get you dead, just keep listening to this clown. Because this clown's already sold you out for money. Your very own enslavement, the very thing that's going to get you dead. But don't worry, when the people at the top get the want, this clown will discover he's not needed no more, and he'll be on that execution list too. Because it's the way history's always replayed itself. Couldn't have him around to tell later on when he didn't like what he was seeing, what was what and who I won. Nope, we give you lots of money right now to sell out your people, make you feel that you're rising up that hierarchy, make you think you're smarter than somebody else by a man-made construct. Rather than use your brains, you want to use your greed, your selfishness, your self-centeredness, your narcissist programming, rather than recognize that we've all been lied to, we've all been divided. That's right. And that our real enemy is the ones who own the monetary system. The ones that's financing all this. And yeah, one of the things, that just frustrates the hell out of me is I'll sit there and listen to people talking about how they're printing $1-2 trillion a day. Well, of course they are. The Great Fall of Rome is replaying itself right in your face. And this time it's the Great Fall of America. That's right. So of course they are. And then you go, well, you know what that'll do? That'll hyperinflate. Everything will go up in price. The dollar will be worth less. And I started laughing, and I fell out of the chair, and I says, fairy tales, nonsense, hogwash. No, it will. No, it won't. And I can back what I'm saying. No, it won't. You know why? Because hyperinflation was created when you had gold and silver back. And remember, everything's a man-made construct. We used gold and silver and backed up the paper money and said you had to have what mankind decided this much gold or silver was worth is all they could print in this money. All a man-made construct. Then they took the gold and silver away from the currency, the dollar, when Nixon was in office, that many decades ago. So it's literally backed by nothing, which means it's just numbers pulled out of banker's anal and printed with nothing backing it. So you're going to inflate thin air? Well, good luck with that one, okay? Good luck inflating thin air. Prices will go up because you want them to go up. Because it's human beings doing this to human beings. And until you can get that theory through your thick skull, and because it is a man-made construct that's been abused and used to empower a few over the top of others and used as a weapon to hold people down, to cause homelessness, starvation, used to build weapons to kill one another, rather than growing up, I say you fire them. And you take the monetary system and everything they own away from them because they stole it all anyhow. And you create your own. See, what you need to do is collapse all governments. Collapse everything. Bring it back. Do away with the hierarchy. Do away with the bankers. That's right. Do away with the evil. Don't give them no say-so. Start working together and looking out for each other. Create a new monetary system and make sure everybody's paid the same, but everybody has a really good life. Practice caring for one another and looking out for one another. Practice doing away with your anger and hatred towards each other and learning to unlearn the behaviors you have now so that you can learn how to communicate and get along again. Men and women alike. Learn what the foundation of a real relationship is. Learn that you got to know one another. Learn because you're attracted to somebody don't mean you're compatible. And quit using one another. Good luck on that one, right? You all enjoy it. You enjoy using each other. You enjoy slamming each other down. I mean, you enjoy your division. You should enjoy falling off the cliff to the jagged rocks below pretty well with that kind of behavior. Because when that's your entertainment, you're going to enjoy that fall. And the people that are drug over with you, they're not the villain. You are. You can try to flip it. You're blue in the face, but you'll always be the guilty one. Always. The cowardly guilty one. Okay, that's what first would be, is the cowardly, guilty one. He's the guy that, well, just happens to be working for, the establishment, living in Silicon Valley, and is collecting lots of the tool to deceive you all and to send you down a rabbit hole to keep the problem alive and well. That's who he is. Yep. And the problem is still alive and well. Agenda 21 is still playing itself out right in my face. No doubts about it. And it's going to progressively get worse. And you're about to see lots of really bad stuff happen. You really are. And you sat back and allowed it to happen. You know when the banksters tell you the stock market crashes and they tell you they crashed the dollar? You have to be smart enough to say then you're fired. And take the monetary system away from who has it. And collapse everything, including the hierarchy, and come back and create a very good society where everybody gets the same pay regardless of what they do for a living, but everybody has a wealthy life. That's right. Because there's no homelessness, there's no starvation, because we're all working together with each other. And we're all looking out for each other, and we don't think we're above somebody else because we have more of a man-made construct than somebody else. So that we can use that as a weapon against somebody else to hold them down and make them comply to our want. Nope, all of that goes away forever. Because if that don't go away forever, guess what's going to go away forever? Human beings. They won't exist no more. They will have died from being too stupid to be alive. That's literally what they'll die from. They're not going to die from anything less. There's no way they could die from anything less. They're going to die from being too stupid to be alive. It's the reality. I don't know what to tell you. Because what's happening is so in your face. You can go pull up all the documentation And you can read it and just observe society and pay attention, and you see it actually playing out in your face. And because I've studied it for so long and understand it so well now, I actually see it. I don't have to do a lot of looking anymore. Right now, I see so many psyops. So much lying, so many psyops. Just keeps going and going and going. And people, I don't know what to tell you, man, are so ignorant, so dumb. They have been so dumbed down. They've been taught a little grain of sand of truth in their whole life, a little grain of sand. And the rest wasn't truth. The majority of everything they taught were lies. Their whole life. From the time they were a kid, they were lied to, and lied to, and lied to. And knowledge was withheld from them, and withheld from them, and withheld from them. And they were set up. See, I'll give you an example of being set up. You grew up as a child in the United States. You was never taught the laws of your land. The common sense laws you was told about. Not to kill, not to steal, not to rape, these type of things, right? But nothing else was you ever taught. There's so many laws in this so-called land of the free, which is actually the land of the enslaved, okay? But in the fairy tale, that's the version they give the public. So while you're living the fairy tale as a kid, you learn all the BS. That's what you learn. You learn the BS. You don't learn the truth. You're not told the truth, and they don't want you knowing the truth. Knowledge is power. Knowledge has been withheld from you. Knowledge can be obtained, but it's only going to be obtained when you go educate yourself. And to do that, you have to uneducate yourself from the nonsense that you've been educated to, and pay attention to what's going on around you. But most people don't want to do that. Most people are too lazy to do that. Most people just won't go there. Or they're afraid. They're afraid of not fitting in with their friends. They don't want to be ostracized. They don't want to be shamed. You might call them a name and hurt their little feelers. It's like these First Amendment auditors out there helping to crash the country and think they're sticking up for the First Amendment. Not understanding that for years now they've told you live in a democracy and use that because nobody challenged them. Nobody challenged them here in the United States. They told you we were a democracy. That's right. Nobody challenged them and said, well, no, we're not. We're a republic. Nobody challenged them, no. So now the courtrooms tell you we're in a democracy. That's right, the courtrooms. I heard it out of a judge's mouth by himself. Right there in person, okay? And I wasn't even the one on trial. I just happened to be in a courtroom watching somebody else, okay? And I was like, oh, really? Okay. Now you hear it on TV. I've heard it out of a judge's mouth. I heard it out of a district attorney's mouth. Uh-huh. See, so they sold it on to you that you live in a democracy. Well, that gave them the right to, have a vote. Who does the vote that creates your so-called laws? Oh, that's right. It's all of your puppets. Yep, the same puppets that are, in bed with the elite that's doing this to us. They voted to make these changes based on what they were told to change, what they were told to do. They're great little order followers, which are Nazis. That's what Nazis did. That's how Nazis got their names. They followed orders that led to bad stuff to society and people dying and people holding other people down. Now the Nazis are worldwide. They're not just in Germany. Now we have Nazis worldwide. And they don't even know they're a Nazi because they never looked into a damn thing. That's right. And they fell for the Kool-Aid here in America and called themselves a democracy. So now when you look at the Constitution, you'll see amendments. Well, there should be no amendments, period. End of story. Because they were inalienable. You couldn't vote the Constitution and change it. You couldn't vote to change the Constitution. You couldn't vote to change the Bill of Rights. But guess what they've done? They have voted and made amendments to the Constitution and amendments to this and amendments to that. That's right. Because You drunk the Kool-Aid and was too big of a coward to call them out on their lie and accepted that you live in a democracy. When you accept the lie, then you pay the consequences of accepting that lie. So all the First Amendment auditors are going to do is you're going to slowly see them start to be arrested more and more and more. Till they're not there no more because their rights are gone. And they're going to be scratching their heads saying, but we were fighting to keep it. What happened? What happened is you was sound asleep and didn't know that your First Amendment auditing, they want you to do that. It helps to keep the people turned against the police. It helps with civil unrest. It's as simple as that. But these First Amendment auditors believe they're doing something, they're doing some novel thing. They believe they're saving the Constitution that's already been amended over and over. See, all the amendments belong to be non-voided. They don't even count. Not if you was to stay living in your republic like you were supposed to be. But since you gave it up and moved over to democracy, now you can lose all of your rights. Isn't that awesome? And you get to go out there and think that you're fighting for your Constitution, and meanwhile what you're really doing is helping to keep the public angry at the police and keeping the civil unrest alive and well. So the civil unrest will stay alive and well, and then as things progress, and if you pay attention to the First Amendment auditors, you're seeing more and more of them being arrested. That's right, because it was never an accident that the police act the way they act. The law enforcement community, sheriffs, highway patrol, regular cops, doesn't matter. They've all went through the same training, and they are trained to be order followers. And they won't hire somebody to work in law enforcement that recognizes human rights, that would recognize the Constitution. Oh, but the cop has to take an oath to the Constitution, Bill. Yeah, right. You think it's all an accident that they act that way? No, it's not. You know, people are just so asleep. A republic isn't a dictatorship. A republic was that the government was ruled by the people. Not the government ruling the people. A democracy allowed them to vote away the things that they wanted to vote away. When you call a republic a dictatorship, that would be wrong. See, the republic meant that you was actually the one in charge of the government. You were the government, was your employee. Your employee, the people. And the Constitution and Bill of Rights was supposed to be inalienable, couldn't be changed under a republic. No, the government does. That's because you understand it was all a ruse from the very beginning. From the very beginning, it was all a ruse. They gave you the construct when they created America that you're going to have the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, and that they would be inalienable because you were in a republic. Then they changed the wording, you know, word games, to do what they intended to do all along. See, it was all a ruse to begin with. Everything was a setup from the beginning. It was all planned. It was always about getting the one world domination and owning everything on the planet. But you know, it took them many decades to get where they've gotten right now. Yeah, that's a good name to call it, mafia. I've said that many times about governments and banksters. You know, gangsters, banksters, mafia, syndicate. I totally agree with that, Grim. That is the proper word. But when I talk about the democracy and I talk about the republic, I understand it was all a ruse from the very beginning. But I'm selling you the official fairy tale they sold to the people when they created the United States, right? And under that official fairy tale they sold to you, the Constitution and Bill of Rights were supposed to be inalienable. Could never be changed or voted away by nobody. But the entire time it was planned to crash, who do you think owned your dollar? Same people. The same families own all the currencies, all the money worldwide. And they print the money worldwide, and they use it to control you, to enslave you, and to help you work your tail off to finance your own enslavement and your own death. And that's exactly what people are doing. They're going to tell you, well, we putting too much, we're going to... Yeah, it's just a great fall of Rome, great fall of America, that's all. Playing out right in your face, with Nazis involved this time too, because they're everywhere. You know, it's actually pretty damn pathetic. It really is. It's pretty damn pathetic. It gets a little sickening, you know, when you look around you and you see how dumb people are. I wish I could just kill the TV set in everybody's house. Shut down the TV stations globally. You want to talk about a major freaking weapon against the elite? Shut down that TV set. Watch them lie and program to scare the crap out of you then. If there had been no TV sets worldwide in 2020, then the invisible enemy, because it is invisible, it don't exist, they could have never pulled it off. Nope, they couldn't have pulled it off at all. They pulled it off because, yeah, these people out here. See, I don't own a TV no more. Remember I told you at the very beginning I used to own a TV? I watched TV for years, man. I had a big screen TV and everything. I was just as dumb as sheep and blind to everything as everybody else. Yes, I was. Until the day I wanted to know why behaviors of men and women are what they are. And I started actually really researching to find out what the fuck's going on. When I done that, I got my surprise. I got to wake up. And now I'm awake. Let's see, I've lost lots of friends that don't want to talk to me because they're asleep and they think I'm nuts. That's right. When I'm not. They won't look and see. They won't question anything. They'll just go along with. Because they need to make sure they fit in. That's right. Don't worry. There's plenty of room to fall off that cliff. And there's plenty of jagged rocks, big tall ones at the bottom. There's plenty of room for your dead body down there. Even if you don't land on a rock, you know, the fall will be so far that you'll be dead anyhow. So don't worry, there's plenty of room down there for all of you to fall off and die. School will work out fine for the people doing this to you. Sure is. It's going to work out just great for them. And then people like First, well, eventually, see, his job will be up. They won't need him no more. And depending on how many people they manage to take out, he might be taken out himself. There's a good chance he will be because he might know too much information. And they really wouldn't want that information to go out to anybody else. So therefore, done using you now. We got to take you out next, son. Hope you enjoyed the riches of BS while you had it over the top of other people. Why you thought you were so smart, so brave, so this, so that, thought you were so above somebody else, all on a man-made construct. You talk about eating the illusion, drinking the mirage. That's what I look at. People eating the illusion, drinking the mirage, the hologram, believing in the BS that's getting your ass taken out. And still unable to see it. So many people still so blinded to this. I don't know what to tell people anymore, man. I don't come up and do much up here because we ain't gonna be up here much longer anyhow. Nobody is. Because you're getting closer and closer. Just wait till the day the internet goes down. I don't think it won't, because, oh, yes, it will. And when it comes back up, I've got a feeling you won't like what you're seeing. That's right. Bloggers will probably have to have a license. They'll have to apply and be approved and pay money. And then they'll have to they'll be told what they can and can't say. That's right. They'll have to go take classes and learn that they're not allowed to talk about this, that, and this, and that, and that, and this, and this, and that. Well, because you're a slave now, see? And if you go up online and bring up anything that you've been told you can't, they'll be right there promptly to arrest you. And take your license to blog away from you. Watch and see. Won't be the same no more, man. I don't know. When the internet goes down, when it comes back up, look out. Yep, you can find out, just like the censorship you're seeing from the technocrats right now. Who do you think's doing all the censorship on the internet? The technocrats. People like First. Technocrats. Fusion centers. That's right. Most of you probably don't even know what a fusion center is. Even though they're all over the place. Yeah. Fusion centers was given to you after 9/11. You have so many people working for the establishment, employed of the establishment doing this to us, that have sold out their own people. It's not even funny. I mean, Adam was guessing probably 5.5 million people working through the establishment on the internet worldwide. And I would say probably, yeah, that would probably be a really close, accurate estimate to the amount of people who have sold out on the internet and are working for the people doing this to us for the tool, so that they can have lots of the tool money to rise above others while they're helping to destroy, carrying out the evil, dirty work for the scumbags at the top, all for the tool. You know, and that's the reality of it, you know. I just, you know, I've seen so much going on, and I've watched so much, and I've read and looked and watched, read and looked and watched, and I'm to a point now where I literally see what's going on. I'm watching it play out in my face. I'm powerless to do anything about it myself, because it takes all of us working together and standing down to stop this crap. And then even if you can stand down and you can get enough people worldwide to stand down and put a stop to them, if you don't go after the people responsible for it, which would be the Rothschild dynasty, the Rockefeller dynasty, the J.B. Morgans, the bloodlines, yep. You're going to start going after the people behind it. You're going to hold them accountable, and you're going to take everything away from them that they have, including the monetary system, and you're going to collapse your governments. You're going to walk away. You're going to do away with governments, because nobody needs somebody to hold their hand through life. You're going to learn to grow up. You're going to learn how to work together. This world is just absolutely no excuse for it being in the shape it is, and for people treating each other the way they are. There's no excuse for homelessness. There's no excuse for people to be broke and homeless and on the street. People in California to work their damn tails off and still can't afford to rent an apartment. Had to live in a fucking tent outside, working a full-time job. Live on the street in the heat and rain in a freaking tent or a cardboard box in the woods with plastic over it. There ain't no excuse for that behavior. None at all. It's just right up wrong. It's right out evil. It just shows people's minds have been so bended and twisted and warped. If they don't get their heads out of the, you know what, you're literally going to see the end of mankind. You're literally going to watch humans kill each other off till you all the documentaries running on YouTube become a reality right there, right there. Life on Earth after humans. And if you know, and you just take that plunge and challenge and run right over on YouTube search bar, put in Life on Earth after humans, you will find some nice professionally Hollywood made documentaries. And watch one of them and seriously think about what I'm telling you. If you want to continue to hate on each other, and you don't want to look for your real enemy, and you want to continue to do what you're doing now, this is your fate. I hope you understand that. This will be the fate. That's right, Grimm, The Purge. You know, they even got 4 movies out, The Purge. I think it's 4, maybe it's 3 of them. And I know exactly what you're talking about The Purge. That's right. What do you think the population reduction is? A purge. It's in your face. Oh, that's just on TV. That's a movie. Nobody would ever do that for real. Nah, there would never be a war. Nah, we've never had any wars. No. You're right. There was never a world war. There was never a civil war. No, there was never a, desert storm. No, 9/11 didn't happen. No. Humans care about each other. They would never think they're above another human being. Pathetic. Oh yes, there's lots of predictive programming. I watched a movie yesterday called Gamer. And if you watch that movie called Gamer, they told you some real truth in this movie. There was a couple of different scenes where they actually put the real truth right in your face. Nanotechnology. And the enslavement of the human beings. Literally was talked about in this movie. See, that's because that's predictive programming. They deliberately do this because you can't never say you wasn't told. You can go on the United Nations website and read up on Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. You can go on all of your criminals' websites, FEMA, Homeland Security, you know. You can go on the government, you can go on the freaking, you can watch and see what bills are being pushed through the House and through the Senate. All these, NASA, you got all these websites you can go to, NSA, and all of them like to post things telling you what's going on. Even the CDC will do that, right? That's all they do. And they'll tell you some real truth on their websites. Oh yeah, they'll tell you lots of bullshit because that's what they're famous for doing. But they'll also tell you the real truth. All the documentation for their plans are out here. They can be obtained, they can be read, and they can be found, but they won't be much longer. Well, they bring the internet back up, well, it'll still be gone. You won't be able to find it again. They'll hide it from you. There's still quite a few people that, for whatever reason, has decided to, that's not awake at all, that is declined to get the jab. That's right. They said no to the jab. That's good. Anybody that said yes to it, too late to help them. That's why I look at that. Anybody that said yes to it, you're too late to help them. Because this is a genocide program. And this ain't over. People keep thinking blah, blah. No. Manipulation is hard. We're coming into summer again. They're going to give you a little bit of break, but they're probably going to have lots of stuff happening. I expect half the United States to be burning again. Watch and see. I expect to see droughts, and I expect to see fires in like half the United States again. Probably even going to see some nice superstorms again. That's right. Just like this so-called ransomware attack on the pipeline, and now a ransomware attack on a meat plant. Nope, Agenda 21 all day long, right in your face. Years ago, the meat processing plants were here still working with no internet, and they worked just fine without an internet, didn't they? Sure did. The gas supply, the oil supply line, the gas supply line there, I don't know. You could have disconnected that from the internet and just turned it back on manually and pumped it right away and never had a problem. Nope, couldn't do that. We got to lie to the public, and we got to make more problems, problem, reaction, solution. It's all Agenda 21 related. Oh, that's sad to hear that your mother got it. What are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? Sad. It really is. Hey, I've met some sheep that got it themselves. Oh, I know. That's one of the things that it's in Agenda 21. They're going to do that to the grid. They're going to tell you that the grid's failing. They're going to tell you there's too many people alive, and you're going to see more and more power outages popping up here and popping up there and popping up here and popping up there. And for a little bit longer each time and a little bit longer each time, and pretty soon maybe power will be out in one area for 6-7 months. And for people who ain't prepared, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. I don't think for 1 minute they're not going to do it. It's all wrote in the documentation. It's all right there in the documentations of Agenda 21 and 2030. If you take your time to read it and compare what's going on, you'd see it playing in your face. But most people are too scared to do that. They just better remember this. There is no global warming. We are not overpopulated. No, we're not running out of resources. It's all man-created, just like the man-made construct called money. All man-created. A bunch of psychopaths controlling everything, doing this to you. Deliberately and lying to you as they do it to you. And you just let them get by with it. People just let them get by with it. Very annoying. Very annoying. Oh, I know. Most of them don't even know they're asleep. I agree with you on that. See, Grimm's one guy that when he comes in here, the majority of everything he types, I can tell he's pretty much really awake, and he's not stupid. This guy right here, I don't know who he is, but he's on point with most of everything he types. Very awake. And I appreciate people like that. There's just not many of us left out here. But I do understand the United States was set up and designed to fall. From the very beginning, they planned on bringing it down. It was all about selling people BS and stealing the resources is what it was all about. It was planned to fall from the day it was created. You're at that point now. People who are awake get attacked. Well, I've lost 3-4 channels on YouTube over the years that I've been here, and I've lost one heck of a lot of videos. Okay? I've had feds at my door. I've had military outside my door. This is no lie. All this shit happened to me. I had a job pulled out underneath me. It hurt me financially because of me opening my mouth online about the very topics that I still open my mouth about to clear to this day. And when you start hovering over truth, they like to attack you. I pulled, you know, I got some good scare tactics thrown at me. But I'm back out. What are you going to do? Take me out? So what? You plan on doing that anyhow, right? Right. Okay. See, I'm not scared to die, unlike a lot of people. I don't care. I'm ready. I'm already dying anyhow. What have I got to lose? Nothing. And if I wasn't dying, what have I got to lose? Nothing. Because if you don't fight back and they're planning on killing as many people as they're planning on killing and they're dead serious about it, you keep going the way you're going, you're going to find out that they are dead serious about it as your life's being snuffed out too. By another clown who thinks they're God. That's why I don't worry about people like First. I could care less about the guy or know who he is. He never fooled me. The only person he's ever fooled are the fools. The ones that are already idiots and fools will go right down the rabbit hole with it. They'll believe it all the way and they'll keep having him on until they find out the hard way, and he ain't gonna care. He's being paid to do what he's doing. He don't care. You'll never pay off the debt because it was created, it was created out of debt to begin with. Every single penny, every single dollar they printed, they charged interest on it, and they never ever printed the interest. So that you could never pay it off even if you turned all the money in the world in at the same time that was in existence, you would still be in debt to them. It was deliberately done to steal from you. The monetary system was criminal from day one. It's not called the root of all evil for no reason at all. People like First have sold out their country because he could make more of the tool and rise up the hierarchy. So he sold out his country. I call it treason. I call it punishable by death. Why not? That's what they're planning on doing to us. Right? Right. As far as I'm concerned, anybody that plans on killing other people that's done nothing to them, they deserve to die themselves. After all, it was their idea, and they should have to try out their own idea before they expect anybody else to try it out. The only solution you have is to stop complying in massive numbers and standing together. And that ain't going to happen, is it? Look at the manosphere. The majority of the people in the manosphere are sound asleep. What you got to do is listen to Hell by the Dashboard and you'll recognize somebody that's a zombie. Hell by the Dashboard he's a zombie. That guy knows not what he talks about. But that's from not looking into stuff and not paying attention. So yeah, I get frustrated because I see what's coming and it's not stopping. Why should they stop it? They don't have to. People are that dumb. And God, I hate to call people names and say they're that dumb, but really, for real. But I'll tell you what, being awake isn't an easy pill. There's times you wish you could go back to sleep, but I refuse to go back to sleep because I'd rather know the truth than a lie. At least I know what's coming. Unlike the majority of the people out here. I know what to expect. They don't. Well, of course, that's what you call a front man. If things get nasty and ugly and they can't get by their plans, they'll start prosecuting the front men. And he is a front man. That's who Fauci is. He was used for letting for money. He's a front man. No different than Bill Gates, front man. George Soros, front man. Jason Goodman, front man. Only Demogard, Jim Fetchard, should I go on? I can name off list of fuckers. I can name a big list of employees of the establishment. Believe me, a lot more than First. Sad. That's correct. The same thing's happening to him. It don't mean it's going away because they're removing their frontmen. These guys were always frontmen to begin with. You got to be very careful with that because they can manipulate people real easy. They take these people out of the eye view and they make you think they went after them in the public's eyes, and really they protected them. Okay? Nothing changes. What does it do? It gives you a false sense of security. You think that you're starting to beat them and starting to win. You let your guard down. That's exactly what they want. It's called a false sense of security. Make you believe something that isn't true. It's what they're good for doing. This is what these people do all the time. Change your perceptions to their wants, steering the narrative. And you go along with it mindlessly because you believe their narrative. That's called drinking the Kool-Aid and wondering how come you're falling now to your death. And going, I don't understand. Unbelievable. But anyhow, guys, I've been up here a little over an hour now, so I'm going to jump on out of here. But I wanted to have this little rant. So I figured I'd come up here and do this little rant, and I'm going to get the heck on out of here. Okay, I did a little bit of venting. I'm frustrated. I wish I could stop what's going on, but I'm only one person. Okay, so, what can I say? But with that, guys, I'm getting out of here, and